My name is Sean Driscoll. I'm a prospective Conservative candidate for Cardiff West in the constituency where your school is.
Okay, thank you. Why would you say politics is important to teenagers in particular?
Good question. I think it's important because it probably affects teenagers more than any other, or some would say more than anybody else, because it's going to affect them for their whole lives in terms of all politics, whether it be health, especially education, whether it's health for their parents, for their brothers, their sisters, education where they are at the moment, and for the rest of their lives and their families that they bring up in the future. So whether it be their grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters, I think it affects them more than most people.
Okay, thank you. What can your party do for young people who are looking to go on to further education?
So these are great questions, aren't they? I think all parties need to engage with younger people more, I think. I think young people have an opportunity to give a decent input into how politics affects the rest of their lives, very much in the way that I just said, that it affects them in all ways, their family, their future lives, and I think more parties need to do more to get that engagement.
So Welsh Labour is holding the Cardiff West constituency currently and has done so since the Assembly was formed in 1999. What do you bring to the table that will end this?
I think we bring a change of ideas and a change of direction, really. My take is quite simplistic, really, and all my life I've been involved in sport in some way or another, and I think looking at it, if it was somebody who was at the top of their game playing rugby, for instance, who's been there for 15, 17 years, we would be saying something like, they're very nice people, they've had a really good go, but we think it's time for fresh ideas and give somebody else a chance to do better.
How will the results of this year's EU referendum affect teenagers living in Wales?
Another great question. I suppose I've got something in common with yourselves, really, because I'm 59, 60 next birthday. I know, incredible, I can't believe it, but I was going through, I suppose, the same decisions that you're making now when we first went into the common market as it was then. Although being a 19-year-old at the time, I was more interested, I think, as most boys are these days, in sport and socialising with their friends than they are. So I think it's important because it's going to affect young people for the rest of their lives, and I think their decisions they make, they need to be involved in those decisions.
So how would you say your experiences influence your politics?
I suppose from my life experiences, and from where I was brought up and born in the local area, 3 brothers, 3 sisters, affect the way that I view things, being brought up in social housing at the time. School was a difficult place for me when I was a youngster because my father passed away when I was 12. We had all the learning of 1,000, 100, tens and units, pounds, shillings and pence, and that all changed because in 1971, of course, we had decimalisation. So school was a difficult place for me, but I think if we can just get back to that question again, sorry.
So how would your experiences influence your politics?
Yeah, I think my life experiences and how my experiences in business and bringing up a family will shape those views in my politics.
We know that one of your strong beliefs is that those who work hard should be rewarded. How do you feel the education system under the Conservatives rewards hard-working students?
Good question. Well, we believe that schools should be directly funded, and that power is put in the hands of teachers. That like this school, which is a fantastic school, you have to drive through the gate to see the results on the boards to see how well everyone's done. And I think by directly funding schools and directly funding teachers, they'll be able to know what's best for children and know what's best for the investments for their particular schools. And I think other schools can learn from schools like this and build a better future. Okay, yeah. As I said earlier, I do feel it's important for young people to have an opinion on the referendum, obviously. And people quite often ask me what my opinion is of the referendum. And I gotta say, my wife calls me the okey cokey, because one minute I'm in and the next minute I'm out. And it seems that every politician that I listen to on the television changes my mind. But I have to say, I have listened to my son, who lives in London and is heavily involved in construction, and he tells me if I don't vote in, he'll never speak to me again. So, which is not a great reason, but my belief at the moment is we need to be in.
Do you have any more ideas about how young people can get involved in politics? I've thought about this a lot, really, because, as I said earlier, the turnout at general elections are around about 60-65%, sometimes 70%, but in the Welsh Assembly elections, that's generally only about 40-42%, and we're expecting a low turnout now. So in my own way, I thought, how can I get more of my constituents more involved? And what I've done is commissioned what the BBC call their mood box, and I've trialled it in my greengrocers, and it does get people really interactive with politics, and I think it would work really, really well in schools. So I was hoping that I might be able to loan you my mood box in the hope that you can possibly get everybody in the school voting on what they think is best and generate more interest that way. And I'd also like to possibly see what the difference is around all the schools in Cardiff West and how they voted, and compare the outcomes, really. I think it'd be really, really interesting. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This is the Bishop of Landa School Report.